All right. Hello, everybody. Again, thank you for being here. It's so nice to see all of you, and it looks like we've got a big turnout today, so that's exciting. Glad that everybody was able to make it. Um, we've got Elaine Ryan here today, which we're really excited about. Have a little chat about sync licensing and how to stay sane and get sync placements in today's music business, which is a popular topic since the businesses can be very stressful a lot of times, and it's changing all the time. So it's always good to hear tips and information on current advice on how to get your songs placed. So thanks for being here, Elaine. And if any of you are not familiar with Pandy and Music Foundation, we're still a bit new. We just started up in September last year and started getting these workshops going once a week with different mentors leading each week and highlighting different topics and themes in the music industry. And it's been amazing so far to be able to talk to different experts in the industry and hear their perspectives and their advice. And we have made this platform free for everybody. It's a nonprofit. We officially have our 501c3 status, which is really exciting. So we'll be able to start doing grants and things like that soon. And yeah, so the goal for us is to just make these all of our resources free for people who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford getting courses or information like this to help them advance their music careers. So we're very excited to be able to do this for everybody and to meet all of you. And we're so grateful. Thank you for sharing about us and helping us get going. This year has been really great so far, and we have a lot coming up. Really exciting workshops scheduled for next month. And we've also got a live stream wellness support that's going to start up once a week as well. That's just going to be streaming to our social platforms pretty soon. So we'll let you know when that starts up. And yeah, so we can get started. Elaine Ryan is a singer-songwriter and founder of the music licensing agency Unicorn Sync, which I think many of us here probably are familiar with already. And she also runs monthly listening sessions with music supervisors through her nonprofit initiative, Sync Music for a Change, which is really cool. And would love for you to maybe just give a little bit of a background on those agencies, Elaine, and yourself, if you want to do that to start off.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, my name's Elaine Ryan. I've been a singer-songwriter for many years, and I guess a couple years ago, I started Unicorn Sync. It emerged out of Sync Music for a Change, which was this idea that I had for connecting with music supervisors by just hosting a monthly listening session to raise money for a particular organization or to write letters to senators and House reps for progressive causes, to advance progressive causes. And it turned out that people were into that. So we've been able to book a supervisor each month, and it's free to submit. You have to donate to the cause or write a letter. You can check that out, syncmusicforachange.com. I'll put that in the chat here. Syncmusicforachange.com. Yeah. So it started out with that, and then Justina Chandler and I were doing that together, and then a couple of the music supervisors who'd been on the sessions wanted to know where they could get all this music they were hearing in one spot, and thought about it and decided to start a licensing agency, and that's where Unicorn Sync started. And so Justina and I ran that together for a while. Justina has gotten a job as a pro songwriter for a TV show, so she's doing her own thing now, and I'm running Unicorn Sync. And so I guess it's been a year and a half really since we did Unicorn Sync full bore, and we've had a bunch of placements in like sizzle reels and for like this movie Dog with Channing Tatum, Bones and All, which is the Timothée Chalamet movie, Creed, which is Creed 3, which is coming up. I think we got another placement possibly in the pipeline for that one. And then actually today we just got a couple of placements on Are You the One, which is like a reality TV show. So we've had a few on that, and then there's a couple coming this spring on a Disney thing and an indie film. So yeah, it's kind of getting going. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy just connecting with both sides, with musicians and also with music supervisors. And then, I'm trying to like do my own music too. So I'm running around like a chicken with his head cut off, busy, but it's fun. So I wanted to check in and see who here, put your hand up if you've done a sync licensing course, or you've been to like workshops on what is sync licensing. Like put your hand up yeah, okay. Put your hand up if if like this is your first time learning about music licensing. Haha, no one. Okay. So I just needed to get a sense of my audience here. So I'm not like being like music licensing is when there's music with a TV show. You guys already know that stuff. Okay. So, I'll some of this stuff I'll just go over briefly. That seems kind of intuitive, and then I'll dig in. And maybe, I'll leave some space at the end for questions. I'm looking over here because I'm not one of those people with multiple screens. I wish I was. So I have my notes printed out here. Why should you care about music licensing? There's a few reasons. Obviously, there's money up front when you get a placement that can kind of be anywhere from like a couple $100 to a few $1,000s, depending on. And we can get into that. And then there's fans, like bringing people to your music when you get a song placed in a TV show. If you release the song, and it's really important to release your song when you hear that you're getting a placement, so that when people hear the song on the show, people have never heard your music before, they can Shazam it and then find you as an artist on Spotify or Apple. And then once they listen to that one song, there's a good chance they'll listen to some of the other songs that you've recorded. So that's this really cool way for like random people in Germany or Japan or wherever the show airs to check you out. And so build a little bit of a following. 3, I would call like your grandma factor. I think most of us as musicians, like there's, our families are wondering why we didn't become engineers or accountants or nurses or something sensible. And so there's this kind of just like a pride factor. You get your song placed in a TV show or a movie or an ad, and you can be like, look, I did this, my music is in the world. And that's exciting, definitely a good reason. And then there's money on the back end through royalties. This is a bit more like it's kind of pennies or very low dollar amounts, unless you have a lot of songs placed, or if you're doing production music, you get your cues in a bunch of different shows, then it can really build up. So that's important. Somebody's writing to me in the chat. Okay.
Yeah, it was me. Sorry. We had one person put their hand up for the second question. So are you able to just give a quick overview for that person? So Akani isn't sure really what sync is.
Okay. Yeah. So sync is basically is when there's music combined with motion picture. So when you hear a song on a TV show, or you hear a song in a film or in an ad, that is a sync placement. Sync stands for synchronization. So synchronizing the music with the picture. So sync and music licensing are basically the same thing, putting music in picture. Or podcast, maybe it's combining music with other forms of media. Yes. All right. One thing I want to say is like bursting the bubble around sync in general, because it's really popular right now. And there's a lot of people selling courses. That's why this organization Pandian is so awesome, is that they're giving out these free resources. A lot of people selling courses and paid listening sessions and that kind of thing. And they can be really useful in terms of making connections, but they're often like really oversold. Like they kind of are like, you can make, hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can quit your job. And why aren't you doing music full time? What's wrong with you that you're not doing music full time now? Because you can just get into sync and like make big bucks. And I guess when you're looking at those courses on Facebook, the things that they're marketing to you, you just got to be asking like, who's making money? And is this person actually making the majority of their income by selling this course, as opposed to by getting sync placements themselves or doing whatever it is that they're an expert at themselves. So yeah, it's a long game, and it's like, you should look at sync income as supplementary income. It's like an added income stream to whatever it is you're doing, whether that's playing shows or whether that's working at a, you know, a completely different career completely. Yeah. So just something to keep in mind. You just kind of have to ask, like, what's in it for me, and what's worth it for me to be spending my money on. Yeah, I mean, I got this email like last week, because I'm a singer as well, a songwriter, and I get pitched out this kind of stuff too. Do you want to stop wasting your time cold calling and emailing music supervisors that yields very little results? Would you like the opportunity to pitch directly to the supervisors responsible for placing music in ads for brands like da 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 da? Then don't miss your opportunity to pitch to one of the best music supervisors in advertising. And you go to like the book now link, and it's like $200 to play your one song in this listening session. And like the idea behind that is like they're trying to make you feel like, oh, I'm going to play my song, and the music supervisor is going to hear it, and then they're going to put it in this ad for Pepsi for $50,000, and that's going to be me made. I mean, what usually happens is you go to a listening session, they hear your song, they say some nice things about it, because nobody wants to say, oh, the mix is kind of weak and the vocals kind of like, nobody's going to tell you. It's not in their interest to like give you the straight goods, you know. If it's an amazing song, they might respond to your email if you follow up with them, and they might allow you to start like a relationship with them. Maybe if you live in the same city, you could ask them out for coffee and they might say yes. But just know, like, when you go to the listening session, the thing that you're getting out of it is you're getting a sense of where your music sits vis-a-vis other music, in kind of competing with other music. It is an opportunity, like a first step for meeting a music supervisor, that if you ended up kind of connecting with them a few other times, that could build a relationship. And it is an opportunity to connect with other musicians and producers. Like that's a main thing that you can get out of going to listening sessions, is just like, if you have to like put that effort in yourself too, though. Like you have to like follow them on Instagram, be like, hey, I liked your song, like let's collaborate. And so you should look at listening sessions as an opportunity to learn about other music in the field, to get some feedback, and then to like have an opportunity to connect with a community. So yes, that's that. So what should you do? Like, what should you do instead? What are the things that you should do? There's kind of like four main things. First of all, I would say like, make sure your basic needs are met. It's a long game. Like make sure your food and your housing is covered, so that you're not stressed and you're not putting out an energy of like, I need this song synced now. Like, because that kind of energy doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't make you look professional, or it doesn't feel good to people you're interacting with. So the four like reasons that it's hard to get your song synced, or the four kind of pain points, are not having the network. So like not having, you know, connections to sync agencies or music supervisors or whatever. Not having like the organization and business savvy figured out, the contracts, the like understanding the rights, understanding how to write a good email. Not having the music be at the right level, the quality, or having like making music where the genre is not often needed in sync. And then just like not having patience, because it can just take a long time. So the part about genre, I just want to say, like, it's really important to like step back and realize that music licensing is super exciting, but it isn't like the arbiter of whether or not your music is good, or whether or not you should keep being a musician. Like especially country music, like folk singer-songwriter Americana does get used, but it doesn't get used as often as like hip hop and pop, because like reality TV is a like a type of medium that uses a ton of music, and they mostly use pop, hip hop, pop Latin kind of stuff. So when you see on Facebook and Instagram, oh my gosh, this person got a placement, usually it's the people who make that kind of music and make it really well. So yeah, just because your music, it can be extremely high quality music, but it might take a long time for you to get a sync if it's in a genre that doesn't often get placed. And so of these four things, network, business savvy, quality of music, and patience, let's assume we're all patient. So those three things, most people think like, okay, the problem is I don't have the network. Like if I just kind of grew up in LA and rubbed shoulders with famous people and like, you know, they could get my music in, like it's the network. And that is a thing for sure. But the truth is the biggest thing about the reason that people are not getting their songs in is music quality. I mean, yes, definitely there's business savvy, but the business savvy can be learned pretty easily. It's the music quality that's hard, you know? And like, in order for your songs to get placed, they have to be really, really good. The production especially has to be top notch. The vocals have to be really strong. And they have to be current, you know, so it's sounding most of the time, they have to be current. It has to sound like you're in your teens, 20s, or early 30s. And I'm not those things, but I do my best to sound like that when I'm pitching my music. So, and then the songwriting has to be strong as well. The mix has to be good. And one way that you can figure out is if your music is lining up is to go to listening sessions. Some of them are like cheaper than $200. The Sync Music for a Change one's free. Whether or not your song ends up getting played in that listening session, you'll get to hear what is getting used and sort of see like, is my music at this level? And if it's not at that level, then you can either, you need to hone your craft, work on it, or you need to ask yourself, like, what are my strengths? Like, what can I bring to a collaboration? And then try to connect with other people who can get your music to that place. And that might mean saving up money so that you can hire a producer who's really good to make it sound good. And that includes like vocal production. There's producers who are just excellent at producing vocals and can kind of bring your vocal from sounding pretty good to sounding like amazing. Yeah, so that's kind of the main thing. I feel like I could go down so many different rabbit holes on this. Like I could get into the details of like, how do you find collaborators, you know? And like, one of the main things is to join a bunch of Facebook groups. Just Google Sync on Facebook, join all those groups and be brave. Like make a goal of like, you know, once a week, I'm going to reach out to somebody and see if they want to do a co-write. And when you reach out to them, make sure you're giving them one link to your music that's like showing your best stuff. Yeah. So being brave, reaching out to people, and then not taking offense. I guess it's like psychological courage is like this huge part of being a musician, you know, just like if somebody doesn't write back, just being like, okay, that's okay. People are busy. Okay. What else do we have here? Okay. So we talked a little bit about music quality, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. The business side of music, for people who are new or completely new, you want to join your performance rights organization. That's ASCAP or BMI in the US and Canada, where I grew up. It's SOCAN. You just Google performance rights organization and the name of your country. So you want to register your songs with a PRO, you know, at any time before before you kind of release them into the world, because once you release your song, if it gets played even on a local radio station, you could get some royalties. And those organizations are responsible for back end royalties. So they don't have much to do with sync. It's just the back end. And so then there's like, in terms of business savvy, you need to know the difference between master rights and publishing and songwriting. And you need to make sure that you have one-stop contracts and work for hire contracts in order. And I have shared a folder with Jordan that has some templates in there for a one-stop agreement. In particular, I might have put a work for hire in there as well. Knowing what one-stop means is very important. Most of you probably do know that. It basically means if you collaborate with people on a song, that you give permission to one person at least. Sometimes people give permission to everyone who collaborated to pitch that song to either directly to a music supervisor or to a non-exclusive agency. If you sign your song to an exclusive agency, usually that agent will reach out to make sure they have the signature of every person who collaborated on the song. So we need the one-stop agreements as agencies from you to know for sure that you have permission from everyone who collaborated on the song for us to pitch the song. Because the way that it goes down often on my end is I get an email from a music supervisor and they say, hey, we're looking for a song that sounds like this. We need options by 5 p.m. today, right? And I get the email at noon, right? So I'm like eating my lunch. I'm like, oh crap, lunch aside, gotta like look in disco, try to find stuff. And I have to know in advance that this song is already cleared. There's not going to be time for me to like reach out to musicians and say, hey, you know, this song, they're thinking about, you know, they need this song for this. Are you okay with this? Like, basically you have to be okay with just allowing the sync agent to do their best job to pitch on your behalf. And so we need those one stops. And one thing I will say too, is sometimes when people sign a song with us, they'll be like, one thing in the contract that they'll object to is, or they'll want to be able to veto like a placement, you know, to say like, okay, well, I don't want my song in like a big oil commercial or like a cigarette commercial or something. And just first I'll say like that, I mean, I never got a brief for that. I don't think that many people do. If a brief for big oil came in, I'd be like, I don't know that I really want to support, just ethically myself. I don't know if that I want to support this. So like go with a different agent if you want to get those big oil placements. But but also like, yeah, it's really hard if like in terms of like a scene in a TV show, if you're like, oh, I don't want to have my song in a scene that talks about like premarital sex, I don't know. You can't really like make those demands unless you have a bit more clout, like unless you've kind of more famous. You can, if your songs are really, really good, you can be like, you know, I'll put in the metadata, like don't pitch this for whatever animal products, for example. Some people don't want their songs in that. So that's just a little side note. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I'm going to leave that for now on the business side. If you want me to talk about master versus publishing versus songwriting, we'll leave some time at the end. I feel like a lot of people already have a decent sense of that. I think. Let me know if I'm wrong. On the songwriting side of sync, what kind of songs get licensed? Lots of different kind of songs get licensed, but upbeat songs, empowering songs, the lyrical themes for ads can be like female empowerment, inspiration, feeling good, it's our time, togetherness, change, that kind of thing. There's a difference definitely between what is good for ads and what's good for TV. Ads, it's okay to be a little bit more on the nose. But like, yeah, if TV, like, and reality TV, they can sometimes be a bit on the nose, but if you want your stuff to be in like more dramas and that kind of thing, it tends to need to be more subtle. And also the lyrics can't be too specific. I think, yeah, having overly specific lyrics can impede your ability to get a sync. And then if you're doing hip hop, it's really important to have a clean version of your songs, and not just like a bleeped out version. I mean, it's okay if that's all you have is the bleeped out version, but like just like instead of shit that you put the word stuff in there, like specifically like there's a new word. So it sounds like you know, like it sounds like a song that's not made to be clean. Like, yeah, it sounds like its own thing. Okay, let's talk about, okay, so the songwriting side, high production values, you know, open-ended lyrics, amazing vocals, great mix. Those are the main things. And then I think a lot of people I'm always curious about the networking side of things, how to get your songs into the hands of the right people. I took a course in 2019, Catch the Moon, with a bunch of folks who are here. Yeah, hey, Mark, Dixie. Yeah, and I was real motivated because I'm a kind of good at my admin and, you know, I hustle. And so I sent out emails to hundreds of music supervisors, cold emails, introducing myself, all different styles, catchy subject lines. Can I take you out for lunch? Just like, you know, I tried a lot of different ways of cold emailing people, and there were very few responses. Some music coordinators downloaded my songs. I'll just, yeah, straight up tell you that cold emailing music supervisors is hard. Warm emailing might be more useful for you if you go to a conference and you meet a music supervisor in person, you have a good connection with them. You might be able to follow that up and then they'll email you. But yeah, it's tricky. If like, yeah, if you have really good music, you're really charming and you're really good at like connecting with people, you can kind of go the direct route. Otherwise, most of us go through sync agencies. And I'm not just saying this because I have run a sync agency as a musician myself. I have my songs placed with a bunch of different agencies because I want to, like, you know, each agency has its own relationships. Like that's kind of the job of the agent, is two sides, being really good at admin and organization and being able to network and connect with other people. And the second one is really like the extent to which you have friendships or relationships with a music supervisor is the extent to which, oh, someone says, what's the point of sync companies? Yeah, so this is what it is. What's the, oh yeah, if you can cold or warm pitch soups, there would be no point of sync companies. The point of sync, the thing is, like, the networking takes a lot of effort and time. Like like you got to set up lunches and dinners and coffees, and you got to pay for them. You got to follow up with the emails, and it can't just be one or two people. It's got to be a lot of different people, a lot of irons in the fire. So the point of sync agencies is to do all of that networking work, so that they have those relationships. And the music supervisors, like, it was quite dramatic for me. Like, as soon as we started the agency, the difference in people's reaction to me was really like noticeable. Like, I would come up to a music supervisor at a conference, tell them about my agency, and they'd be like, oh, you have an agency. Oh, sure, we can go for lunch. Great. Like, automatically, they're like, okay, you're in the, like, I don't know what the word is. You're in like the ecosystem that I deal with, basically. Like, because they know that if I'm a musician and I'm saying, hey, can I take you to lunch? They're going to be like, okay, so you're a musician. You probably have like one type of music. Maybe you do pop music and one sound, because it's this one person singing. And that might be kind of useful to me, but it's not going to be as useful to me as having like thousands of songs with different genres, you know. So it ended up being a lot easier to connect with them as soon as I became an agency, because they know that, like, that's something useful for them. It makes their life easier. And they're constantly bombarded by people and feeling beholden to people. And they're kind of like, both music supervisors and sync agencies, there's this sense where you're like, people are putting their fragile dreams in your hands, and like, there's a lot of pressure to not screw it up or to like make something happen for people, you know. So I think music supervisors run away from people at conferences because they don't want to be like, now I owe you this and I owe you that. And yeah. What else do we have? Okay, so yeah, find a sync agent. That's basically the long and short of it. Is the people who you're seeing getting placements. I don't know, I have Facebook friends with a lot of people. Every day someone's got a placement. Those are people who are getting placements through their sync agents, with the exception of a couple like all-star people who are amazing, and who are just like, have amazing music, are super charming, go to all the conferences, etc. Yes, so find a sync agent. How do you find a sync agent? I'm going to put a little shout out to Indie, that company. So this is these are some folks that we know. Sonnet and John, you may know them too. They have this company to Indie, and it's got a little, like, they have a sync boot camp that's really great, that's free, and then they have like a community that you can join. And they have once a year they do this event where they have all the reps that, like, not all of them, obviously, there's a lot of sync agencies, but they have a lot of sync agencies come to this event. You go to the event, you get kind of introduced to that. Yes, to indie get wrapped, Rebecca. Yeah. So that is like you know, like I'm just saying that because I think it's super useful, not because I have any skin in the game in terms of whether or not you do that. Yeah, so that's a really great place to meet a rep. The other thing is just going to conferences, going to listening sessions, going to panels where there's sync agencies. You can find lists of agents online. I have a list of them, but that's not going to help you out as much as trying to form a connection. It's all the networking, right? So you go to a conference and then you introduce yourself. Maybe you wear like weird earrings. That's my trick. Wear a weird hat, have them remember me. And then you can follow up with an email and send a link to your stuff. And remember to try to be patient, because they get a lot of emails, but I know that I get a ton of unsolicited submissions. I put them all in a folder called music to be unprocessed submissions. And then when I have some time, I listen. And that might be 6 months after the person has sent me the thing. And by then, maybe I've missed the boat. You know, maybe they've signed their song to somebody else, and that's my loss. But that's how I actually got. Marmoset came back to me and was like, "Oh, we want to sign your thing." I'm like, it's gone. Somebody else has it. So that's just how it shakes out. I've lost my train. Okay, yeah, the indie boot camp, sync conferences. The other thing is in terms of networking is when you get on these different Facebook groups related to sync, if you can collaborate with different people. If you find a friend who is repped by an agency, that's something you can put in your email. And I put a little like email template in the resources folder, I believe. Basically like how to write an email to a sync agency. And there's sort of like 3 ways. One is to say, my friend has their music with you and said that I should pitch to you. And so normally I know the friend, and then I'm like, okay, it's not a random person who's never heard of sync licensing. And the other thing that's important is have one link, just one link, like Disco link, preferably. Disco is this software that is basically the main software used in music licensing. It does cost, I don't know what it is, $20, $10 a month. And if you don't want to spend that money, that's okay. But just if you want to send a Spotify or SoundCloud link, make a playlist on Spotify. Don't send like 5 different Spotify links to different songs, because it's just like, I don't have time to go back and click on each thing, because I open this email, I don't even know who you are or if it's worth my time at all. And if that first link isn't blowing me away, then I'm not going to listen to the other links. So yeah, one link, reference somebody that you know, or reference, I saw you on such and such a panel, even if it's a Zoom panel, I saw you this, and you know, here's a link. I understand that you're pressed for time. So like whenever you get a chance to listen, that kind of thing, just understanding. Yeah. What else? Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a million other things I could talk about. I'm writing a book, you guys, writing a book about it's called Living a Music-Centered Life. It's not just about sync licensing. It's about, you know, being a musician in general, but sync licensing is a bit of that. And so I was going to read, like in the end here, I'm just going to read like a little conclusion. All right. Can you handle? Okay. So you may have heard this particular quote before. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best, in the end, knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails well dignity, that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So that's by Theodore Roosevelt. You might have heard Brene Brown quoted as well. Basically, kudos to you for being a musician and for doing your work. Like, it's hard, you know, we don't get enough credit. So most books you read and most interviews that you listen to are from the people who have succeeded. They have a bias that says it's natural to succeed. Even if they had huge advantages and luck, they will believe that they earned their success. Usually they believe themselves wholeheartedly when they tell you that if you just had this mindset or work ethic or whatever, you'd be successful too. You never hear from the people who worked super hard and had a positive mindset and are doing just okay. So it's easy to get lulled into the notion that if you're not succeeding in music or wherever, you're messing up. Here is an excerpt from a Wired article from 2013 that's important to consider. As of January 15th, 2013, the number of people in the category of living people on Wikipedia is 604,000. So the total global population is over 7 billion. So that means that the fraction of living famous people is 0.00086. So that's not 1%, not 0.1%, and not 0.01%, but 0.0086% of people are famous. So if you're not famous or not notable enough to have a Wikipedia page, is it really because you don't have a positive enough mindset or work ethic? Is it because you are maybe a normal person doing their very best to be extraordinary and doing a great job, but that you live in a hyper-capitalist world that is warped by advertising and false expectations? You have the right to be creative and to make your music, whether or not you get to the place where you have a Wikipedia page. You deserve the connection and beauty that comes from creating, and you deserve food, shelter, community, healthcare, and love. So be strategic, play your own game. Sometimes it's to your benefit to go to a conference, take an online course, or pay to attend a listening session, but you don't have to do everything. It's not that conferences, courses, or listening sessions have nothing to offer. They can be educational and a great way to network. Just be careful to weigh the costs and benefits. Ask yourself, what does the person selling this stand to gain? And what do I realistically stand to gain? And what do I stand to lose? And do what you can do within your budget. Don't try to copy what other musicians are doing, because for all you know, they have a trust fund, a rich partner, an inheritance, or parents helping them out, or they may have crushing debt. Your situation will not be the same as anyone else's. You're being marketed to as though you can only succeed if you buy X, Y, and Z, and then you find yourself in debt, and new marketers act like you should have known better, and they're trying to sell you a course on financial management or how to be a better business person. So you need to be wise to the fact that you live in a world that's doing everything it can to separate you from your money. Always have that in the back of your head. It's easy to take in new age books and podcasts about the universe conspiring in your favor and then forget that there are people out there trying to take advantage of your dreams. None of the options are wrong, despite what others might try to project. There is no real failure if what you're doing is fulfilling to you, makes you happy, and helps you give the world your best. The task is to pick what's right for you at this moment. And you don't have to get it right on the first go around. You just have to keep trying. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there for the moment.
I love that.
Yes.
That was so great. So inspiring.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, do you want to open up a Q&A? Let's get
Yeah.
people on who want to ask any questions directly. If you all have a question, just put up your little virtual hand, or you can pop it in the chat, and we can get to them.
Okay.
I've got a question. Is there a time, have you got a date set in mind for the release of your book, or are you not there quite yet?
I am working on it for half an hour every day. And then whenever it gets ready, it could be a year from now, just, plugging away. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I've read this book, which is right behind me, Atomic Habits. It is like on the bestseller list, I think right now, the New York Times. Super great book, like for any kind of goals, but especially like for being in music licensing, like a lot of the trick is just consistency, whether that's like scheduling that you're doing a co-write every 2 weeks, or scheduling that you're going to write or work on your music, at a certain time of day. Like building a habit is like huge. And because like it is a long game, it's all about like your success is really related to like what you're doing consistently.
Yeah, I think I need that book.
It's really good.
Me
Really
too.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Melissa has a question in the chat. She's asking for briefs. Is it possible to create songs from scratch, or do the songs already have to be finished and released to be considered?
Is it possible to create songs from scratch? No, like you can create them from scratch. It really depends on, wait, are you talking about, yeah, like a lot of people will create a song to a brief from scratch. They tend to be people who are very skilled producers. Yeah, I mean, there's a few people who I like, sometimes I put briefs in the Unicorn Sync Facebook page. And that's usually if we have a couple days. If it's like I get the brief on Tuesday and they tell me it's due on Friday, there's actually time to, and if I don't have stuff in the catalog, like there's a couple non-exclusive agencies that get similar briefs, and I see sometimes they post in their page, and I'll just not post on our page because I already know I have stuff in the catalog, But yeah, some people, I have a few people on hand that are excellent producers and can turn things around like in 24 hours, and I will reach out to those people. And they just create it from scratch. We have a song coming out in an indie film. It's like the brief was, we need a song about turkey, a Thanksgiving themed song about turkey, and we need it tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't have that in the catalog, but I reached out to 3 people that I knew were like solid, and I got 3 awesome songs about like turkey. And one of them landed. So yeah. You mentioned Bubba Rock says, you mentioned having great songs. What is a great song? Okay, so obviously a great song, there's subjective there, but I would like, the main things are that like if your song can sit beside, like, I mean, if it's a pop music, it depends on the genre. If it's pop music, if your song can sit like next to Ariana Grande's in the playlist, it's great. Obviously, it doesn't have to be that great, but the production is the biggest thing, is that the production and the vocal delivery are like professional sounding, like it fits in a Spotify playlist. Songwriting, what is great songwriting? That's a whole other workshop. I don't know. Someone raised their hand. Someone called Stefan.
Yeah, let's unmute you. We can get you on to ask the question.
Hi, good day, everyone. So I just
Hey.
wanted to find out quickly. So what would you recommend to someone that is fresh to the industry? Okay, let me use myself as an example. I've been working in the sync industry for a good couple of years. I am from the Caribbean, by the way, Trinidad.
I didn't guess that.
And I've been working with a lot of middlemen. I've been working with some sync agencies, actually. I started working, I guess, independently now, started my own, I guess, production label. And so I'm kind of back to ground zero in a sense. And I would just like to find out, like, what is the best approach? Because I actually had some synced and stuff like that. So I've got skin in the game. But yet still, I am miles away. I'm not living in the States. I'm in another country. I'm operating from here.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the best advised method for, I guess, reapproach? Would it be to, would you say, all right, just get a sync agent, or maybe do the library approach, or do both? If you have, let's say, a catalog of 20 songs, different feels, what would you recommend that start approach to be?
Yeah, I think that I would recommend getting a sync agent. If you have 20 songs, I would recommend getting a few sync agents, putting kind of 3 songs with different agencies. And like that thing that I mentioned earlier, this 2 indie, and type it again, if you just search 2 indie, they're doing a session in a few weeks where you can meet a bunch of sync agencies. So yeah, I think if you don't live in the US, it's a good idea to have a bunch of different agents repping you. And again, the other thing, if you don't live in, like I have co-written songs with people living in Australia. Actually the Australian guy that Ben, so I guess they pay good royalties over there. So we had our song, I guess he's in something. And yeah, the international connections can be useful. Yeah, so I would recommend trying to join Facebook groups and stuff and do some collaborations with people who are in the US, and that kind of helps broaden your, network. And maybe that, it's hard to travel sometimes, like immigration stuff. I'm Canadian, I know some of that stuff too, but they can go to the conference, you know what I mean, and be repping, connecting to the, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great, thank you for that question. Looks like there's another one on, Melissa was asking a follow-up question. Do the amount of streams factor in when getting selected? Would they instantly get dismissed if you had low streams?
No, like, I mean, if your song's on Spotify, yeah, sometimes some songs, like you don't have to release your song to have it repped by a sync agent, right? So there's kind of like 2 tiers, or probably more than that, but in the music supervisor's mind, there's like indie artists who people haven't really heard of, or who have what they would say like less than 10,000 Instagram followers, which is most of us. And then there's people who are on the way to potentially being famous. And the music supervisors really like to break people who are on the way to potentially being famous. But that's a really hard thing to be. So basically, if you are an average indie musician, the fee structure is lower. It's kind of like for a reality TV show, it's like $1,000 to $2,000 a placement. And whereas if you are somebody with a major record label, it might be more like $5,000. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter how many streams you have. I've had a couple briefs that they're like, we just want songs from artists who are who already have a following, but most of the stuff doesn't ask about that. Somebody said, what are your thoughts about exclusive and non-exclusive sync libraries and the pros and cons? Okay, so I have a non-exclusive agency, so make sure you like factor that into whether you believe me, or like my credibility. So obviously I'm gonna tell you that non-exclusive is better, but it's not. It's just 2 approaches, right? So like if you are with an exclusive library and you think like, if you have a relationship with the agent, if you know that this agent is really good at placing the type of music you write in stuff, then that can be really worth it. But if you like, I don't know, non-exclusive is really great because you can put your songs with a few different people and it's not locked in the same way. Like if you put your song, if you're doing a deal that's exclusive, and they don't really care that much about your song, like sometimes sync agencies will take a song because they're like, sure. Like they got nothing to lose except for a bit of admin time with like signing your song, right? Like some people are scrupulous, some people are not scrupulous. So if you put your song with an exclusive agency and they're just not that excited about it, or they think, maybe it'll land, maybe it won't, then your song is stuck there for 2 or 3 years. I think a lot of people talk about, there's this narrative about non-exclusive agencies being really dangerous, because what if you give your song to 2 non-exclusive agencies and they both send it to the same brief? Oh my gosh, then the music supervisor is going to be like, this is so unprofessional. I don't think that's true. I think that's propaganda from the exclusive agencies, personally, because if number one, there's like hundreds of music supervisors with different personalities, right? So maybe some of them will be like, no, right? But like, I think a lot of them will be like, I got these 2 different songs. I'm going to go with this agent because I know them better, or I'm going to go with this one because it came in my inbox first. They'll have some way of deciding. And maybe it'll be so awkward for them that they'll just pick a different song. But I guess you're weighing the risk. You're weighing is that that probably doesn't happen very often. Maybe it happens sometimes. So you're kind of weighing like, does it look some kind of way to the music supervisor versus is my song locked up with this agent? You know, you gotta kind of weigh it for yourself. And some people just have this rule, don't put your song with more than 1 or 2 agents, whether or not they're exclusive or not. So try like spreading your songs out, and maybe for one song, just give it to like 2 different and non-exclusives. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that whole thing. There's other questions here. Does your sync agency represent music in English or in French or other languages? Yeah, other languages too. If it's really good music, there's lots of people who want to, obviously the opportunities don't come up as much, but you'd be surprised. Like there's this group I'm part of with all the music supervisors, and it's just like, does anyone have Croatian music? And you're like, oh, wow. Yeah, so that stuff definitely comes up. Someone says, let's see. What about registering with Sound Exchange, federal copyright publishing company with your PRO in relation to sync before pitching to live use? Okay. Sound Exchange, I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to talk about it. Federal copyright, I used to do that back in the day. I used to like send in my songs and pay $30 or whatever it is. And now I'm just like, I don't know. It's released on Spotify. Sort of feel like that's enough. It's kind of like risk tolerance. Publishing company with your PRO. Some people are really strong that you should have a separate publishing company. With BMI, you don't have to. You can use your songwriting IPI for your publishing. Same with SOCAN in Canada. ASCAP, you do need to have 2 separate entities. I think you just have to, in your metadata or when you're letting people know, you just have to say publishing and put your songwriting IPI beside it so that they know that you are self-published. It
looks like Kristen's got her hand raised here.
Okay. Yes.
Just gonna unmute you now. Did that work? Should be able to unmute yourself there.
Yes.
Awesome. Hello.
You're unmuted for 5 seconds. Try again.
Uh-oh, looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it muted
Unmuted?
again. Oh, there we go.
Just,
Great.
I have just a short question. I have my songs ready to go out there and make my first pitches, but there's one thing I have a hard time with. Describe my music and who I sound like. I asked so many people. No one could tell me a band or a singer. Some say, oh, sound like something from the 90s. Yeah, I'm a 90s girl. Yeah, definitely influences. But some songs more pop, more rock. I would say I'm an indie pop rock musician. That's it. Is there any tip?
Yeah, if you release your song on Spotify, or if it's like, or Pandora, I don't even know, like, but if you on Spotify, you can like click a song and then be like, go to song radio, right?
Yes,
and then
there were everything from the Smashing Pumpkins to the Cranberries. Yeah, I did this. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe just like create a SurveyMonkey survey and send it out to like 15 people and with a link to a song and be like, which does this remind you of? I mean, that stuff doesn't, not that important. If you know what I mean, it's just like they'll just ask you what it sounds like and you just put two different famous people. I mean, and yeah, it's really the reason they ask you that is sometimes people will send in a brief that's be like, I want something that sounds like Katy Perry. And then you need a way to like quickly search your catalog for, you know, somebody that sort of sounds like Katy Perry. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for that question. It looks like we're getting kind of close to the end here, so I just wanted to say if you have a question that you didn't get answered, you can head over to our Creators Circle Facebook group. It is a private group. We're trying to keep it just more of a private community for people. So if you can join and just answer the questions it asks you, and you'll be admitted into the group. And then you can ask your questions on Elaine's Ask Me Anything thread that we're going to have up there. And we'll also post the resource that Elaine's shared with us on that thread as well. So you can check that out after. And yeah, thank you so much for everything today, Elaine. This was so
My
amazing.
pleasure. I will
Thank you,
also
Elaine.
join our Sync Music for a Change Facebook group. I think it's
Cool.
facebook.com/groups/sync music.
Great. We can put that in we'll put that on our post as well. Yeah. Cool.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for coming today. It was so great to see you all. And yeah, just chat with us on the Facebook group or send us a private message if you'd like. And we will talk to you all soon. See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
See ya.